Multiple farms in Texas just shut down overnight. Why? Because ICE raids made nearly 100% of the workforce completely vanish. People ran, got detained, or flat out got scared to death and never came back. Dairy farms are in panic mode right now. Cows gotta be milked every 8 hours. And guess what? Nobody's showing up to milk these fuckers, folks. This isn't some Texas problem either. This is happening across the entire nation. ICE isn't just out here enforcing some bullshit laws. They are actively crippling our food systems with fear and chaos. You want to talk about consequences? This ain't just about politics anymore, y'all. It's about what's on your table, what's in your fridge, or what's about to be missing from your fucking store. These Nimrods aren't saving America. They're starving it.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. White farmers in Texas and Nebraska are calling out the black community and the black nurses to come out and help them in their farms. Now they're asking themselves why the black community is so silent after their running shortage of labor in their farms. Now they're actually trying as much as they can to gaslight the black community to accept their offer on coming to work in their farms. Is this really the correct moment the black community should put their differences away and come and work for the white farmers in Texas and Nebraska? So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
What up, black folks? Blueberries. We need help picking blueberries. Man, y'all hear about this shit? A hospital in Philadelphia posted a flyer asking nurses to pick blueberries on their free time on the weekends for free. Gonna help them get a promotion or a ladder or some shit, I guess in nurses terminology, a step up to go out on the weekend and pick blueberries. You heard that dumb shit? These people that went to college for no telling how many hours or years or whatever to attain that degree, and these monkey motherfuckers got the nerve to put up a flyer asking them on their free time to go pick blueberries. And we know what it's about. Immigration. Them motherfuckers ain't got nobody to pick them blueberries, and they gonna die in the fields. Cause black folks ain't picking shit ever again. Ancestors won't allow it. So yeah, man, and them nurses ain't going out. I don't even believe they had the gumption or the gall to even post that shit in a hospital asking nurses to pick blueberries on their free time on the weekends. Woo! Yeah, y'all, this the bullshit we dealing with, man. We got a fucking idiot running the most powerful nation, supposedly, in the world. And we got a bunch of dumb motherfuckers surrounding him. And then we got another bunch of dumb motherfuckers out here in America that can't read or do any critical thinking, you know, that keeps putting this dumb motherfucker, him, and his ilk back in office. But yeah, back to them damn strawberries or blueberries. Them motherfuckers will be dead on the vine before a nurse goes out there and pick them. You can believe that shit.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms, it's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients. And I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening with the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvests, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H-2A workers who are going to have layoffs. This is all under Republican leadership, not just from the White House, but from the Republicans that were elected in the state of Texas. And if you think this is going to stop at Texas, you've got another thing coming. And you want to know which farms are going to be impacted further down the road? They're going to be safe for now. There's a small percentage of farmers who are actually Democrats. And they understand how important it is to protect their employees, take care of their employees. Those employees who feel safe will keep showing up for work because they know the owners have their backs, which says something about these other farms where the employees are like, I'm too scared to show up. Let me add this final thing. This is going to impact farmers. They're at risk of going out of business. Who's going to jump in? The federal government to compensate them with our tax dollars. So now our tax dollars is going to be used to cover the bullshit leadership of this administration on top of the overwhelming increasing tax dollars being used by this administration to scare, to deport, to imprison people with brown skin. Like our tax dollars.
To do is be free labor because the orange orangutan man fucked up. It's not happening. I'll die on that hill. You can't fucking make me. Hell, I can't even make me do half the shit I'm supposed to do, and I'm in my own body. Fuck around and find out. You, sir, made a whole lot more people more sick, and you're gonna try and get free labor out of the people that are gonna attempt to keep the people alive when you're trying to actively kill them. Are you outside of your fucking mind? Why don't you take that on down to your golf club and have the rich good old boys go pick some blueberries? I really feel that's good. That's reparations. That would be reparations for the enslaving of an entire race picking cotton. Go pick some blueberries, rich white boys. This is a perfect time for you to fucking have a little bit of karma coming back to get you. Anyway, I gotta drive. It's raining. I'm pissed. Wait, time out. Before I piss off the people that I love, just let me just say, I am not the keeper of reparations. I think that'd be a cool reparation, but I'm just a white chick. I don't own the reparations. I think, but you know, like, If that's something that you'd be into for reparations, I would support that. Just round all the rich white guys up and make them go do manual labor. I will support you in that. I support you in whatever reparations you want, honestly. That was just an idea. But it ain't my reparations. I just want to put that out there. Don't come for me in those comments. Please don't stitch that shit. Context is everything. And I think, generally speaking, all of us really fucking hate white rich guys right now. They're like, literally, the worst part of America is a rich white man. I'm sure some MAGA fucker is going to say something about that shit. Ask me if I care! I don't. No, don't ask me how we got from blueberries to reparations to hating rich white people. I don't fucking know. This brain is no longer medicated with ADHD medicine because I don't want to sell my soul to the corporate devil and corporate healthcare anymore. I'm a PRM princess. I don't get health insurance, and I'm certainly not going to do it for blueberries. See?
I read this article, and it says that they got hate after D.L. Hughley posted, which is after I posted it. I got that flyer from a friend who pulled it from the center where she works, exactly like that. I checked the QR code, and it works. It does not name the farm until you actually sign up, and in order to sign up, you have to put your name and all that good stuff, and I did not do that. So I didn't even know the name of the farm, because the link still works. It takes you to this. It says it's active, mellow work, and this is what it gives the description. This is what it says. The vibe is physical, outdoors, busy. And in location, it just gives that, and it says sign up to see exact location. This is all the information I had. So I never named a farm, and the QR code on that flyer that I blacked out, as far as I saw, didn't name a farm. But as you can see, the circle top, I'm trying to block out the address because I don't want them to get, people signing up to not show up. But it goes through fulfill, which is exactly what the flyer says it's going to do. So how the person in this article got hate, if they got it, it didn't come from me, and it didn't come from the flyer that I posted, unless somebody found an unscrambled QR code and then signed up and then found the location. But I'm not doing that. I thought it was ridiculous that was posted as a clinical ladder opportunity through Fulfill. And somebody else in another comment section mentioned that the head of Fulfill is head of the Republican Party somehow in that state. So that part makes sense. And that probably had a tie to the hospital, if I was to guess, at how all of that ended up at a facility. But the person told me exactly what facility it's in and what hospital system. And they asked me to black it out because they had been vocal at their place of work about how ridiculous it was. And again, this is somebody I know. I know in real life. So whatever hate this got through to that farm, I never pointed to it. I couldn't even tell you if it is correct, because I didn't get any further than just making sure the QR code went to Fulfill, went to that. And like I said, I blacked it out so that they wouldn't have people signing up not to be there. Like, I blacked it out to prevent exactly that from happening. So I don't know. Like, I don't know how somehow it got to that farm. Now, I didn't expect my video to go very far, because my videos don't go far. The last thing I expected is fucking D.L. Hughley to post it on Instagram, because somebody said they saw me on Instagram, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not on Instagram anymore. And once it gets there, Lord only freaking knows. But I tried. I blacked out the code, and I wouldn't have shared it if I didn't know exactly where it came from. But if the entire flyer was fake, I'll say that, then why does the QR code go to Fulfill, which is who the clinical ladder says that it's with? Why would it do that? Why would somebody create a fake flyer, post it all around the hospital for people to find it, get outraged with a link that functions, a link to sign up, and a link through the organization that says it goes through the organization that the clinical ladder is through? And if it wasn't something the hospital supported, don't you think somebody in admin walking around the hallways would have looked and said, what the fuck is this, and pulled them down? or sent an email saying that this was sent, we don't know where this came from, like, don't you think that would have happened? So, I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, the flyer that I received and that I posted checks out. Everything is consistent. The flyer says picking blueberries through fulfill. You scan the QR code, it gives you blueberry pickings through fulfill. It tells you how to sign up. It has times available, and it gives you the location once you sign up. How much more legit can you get? That's what you would do if you saw it in the hospital, right? And notice in that I linked to where it showed to, it didn't say, it just said you're filling them, putting them in boxes, and putting them on the back of a truck. It says they're going to be donated, but that's a trust me, bro. Truly, it's a trust me, bro. And I don't trust anybody nowadays. So anyway, I just wanted to clear all of that up, because I don't know how much more due diligence, I don't know what red flags that I would have seen. That all seems, the flyer is legit. It may not be that particular farm. I don't know if it is. But the flyer is legit as far as I'm concerned. The link still works.
The U.S. and the European Union have agreed to work towards zero tariffs and subsidies on non-automobile goods. President Donald Trump making the announcement less than an hour ago. He says the EU also agreed to buy, quote, a lot of soybeans. This comes after several countries imposed retaliatory tariffs targeting U.S. exports of agricultural products. Now the Trump administration is offering $12 billion in aid to American farmers hurt by those tariffs. Our Jack Fink spoke with one farmer in Grandview in Johnson County who says the trade disputes have hit his family hard.
We realized we were outgunned.
Jay Davis says when he and other farmers went to China 11 years ago, they quickly learned they took advantage of American farmers, and he knew there would have to be a day of reckoning.
One of the things that we're excited to see is some hard line by the U.S. in terms of trade negotiations.
But the hard line has created pain. Davis says the trade disputes that led to tariffs on U.S. agriculture have dropped the prices he's received for his two main crops, corn and wheat, by as much as 25% since the spring. He says the Trump administration's $12 billion in emergency aid to farmers would help, but...
No, we don't want handouts. We want to be able to market our goods in a fair trade situation.
The tariffs are one thing, but the brutal Texas temperatures this year have proved to be quite another. Davis hasn't been able to produce nearly as much corn or wheat as last year.
The timing of it is terrible for Texas because so many people are dealing with drought and now depressed prices.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. White American farmers are now asking black farmers and nurses to come and work on their farms. And this can be understood through a series of combination that which include of economic, demographic, and historical factors. Now, though so many people are trying to combine this with voting Donald Trump and whatever has happened over the last 1 year when Donald Trump assumed office. Now, it can be understood that there is a shortage, indeed, a labor shortage in the agricultural sector. After many of those who are working in the agricultural sector in the farms were deported by the government of Donald Trump, and this is not sitting well with most of the white farmers right now. We've seen farmers from Nebraska, we've seen farmers from Texas asking for help from the black people or the black community, and they're now asking the black farmers if they can come and work in their farms. Now, what is really not happening that they have to call for the white, for the black community to come and chip in and help them in their farms. Now, I've seen a series of videos, people talking about the privilege that the white farmers have been having since years, and why we are seeing most of the farms that are being owned by the white people collapsing because of lack or shortage of laborers. Now, they are asking, why are the black farmers still doing good in Texas and in Nebraska? Now, it must be remembered that many American farms, particularly in rural areas are facing a severe labor shortage. Traditionally, much of this labor came from the black community, which were migrants and some of the seasonal workers who come from Africa, the Latin America, and many other parts of the world, including the Caribbean. Now, due to stricter immigration policies, which have been enhanced by Donald Trump and his administration, we are seeing an aging rural population or declining interest in farming amongst so many other people. Now, many people are being actually kicked out of the US by the ICE, and you know how that is going to affect the farmers, and the farms, because most of the Latin America have come looking for jobs, and most of them have ended up in the farms in the US. Now, these strict immigration policies are now making sure that lesser people the many people who are working in these farms are now being deported. Now, it leaves a gap for those who are now being deported, but they were working here. Now you see the fact that most of the new generations do not want to go to work in these farms, and there is a problem when most of the people want to live in the cities and not in the farms to work and bring food to the table now, or feed the populations. And when this is happening now, it is happening and affecting the farms, and leaving alone the immigration policies alone, you are going to realize that there is a declining interest in farming amongst the younger generations, and simply there isn't enough workers to meet the demand, and this shortage threatens food production and harvest timelines and the financial viability of farms. And when we say about these things, it is not new to us that most of the population, including the Gen Zs that I belong to, do not want to go to work in the farms, and this is bringing a real problem, and when we have problems like this, it is now very hard to have solutions when the immigration policies have changed, when Donald Trump, by the use of ICE, is trying to push other populations out of the United States. And this is not a good time for many of the farmers in America. And for as much as we understand things and how things have been working in the US, we must also be very, very intelligent to know that there is shortage of skilled workers in the farms, and those ones who are committed to doing whatever they are doing. Now, it must also be remembered that most of the new population or most of the new generations do not want to go and acquire skills that are related to farms or farming. And for this one reason, we are having a problem with the generation. And as much as the immigration policies have caused an unrest in the US and in these white farms in Texas, Nebraska, we must also not just blame the immigration policies. We must also remember that most of the young generation do not want to do things with farming. They want things to do with social media. They want things to do with to work in offices. And for this one reason, we are having a very big shortage of skilled farmers, and those who are willing to work in the farms, and those who are committed to working. Not just that they are working in these farms, but they have the passion to work in these farms. Now, you now have a whole point to understand that it is not just about the immigration policies. It is also about on how we think about farming, how we take the whole thing into perspective. Now, let's not confuse of whatever is happening in the US and try as much as we can to relate and blame Donald Trump. Now, there is a lot of reasons this is what happening right now, but due to the emergency right at the moment, it might, in one way or the other, be linked with the immigration policies that are seeing so many of these Latin America Africans being deported back to their countries. Now, black laborers are not only being approached because of the scarcity of labor, but they are being approached because of their resilience, expertise, and their leadership. Now, it must be remembered that black farmers often have a generational knowledge of agriculture and sustainability practices for a very long time. Now, when black people were taken from the black continent, they were taken to farms, to these plantations. And for a matter of fact, most of them gained leadership skills. Most of them are very, very resilient, and most of them are very expertised in this field. As a matter of fact, for this reason, they are well knowledgeable of whatever they are doing, and I think this is why white farmers are now crying out to the black nurses and to the black community to help them solve the menace they're having in their farms right at the moment. And we must also try as much as we can not to pin this to one thing, that the immigration policies alone. Now, it should also be remembered that black people have been in the U.S. for a very long time, and they have been providing their skills, they have been providing their labor to these farms for a very long time. And it reaches a time when they feel like they are not being treated right, and they try to back down on whatever they have been doing. They try as much as they can, but they're not being appreciated in a way. And for this reason, we've seen most of them trying not to show up to work, and maybe in one way or the other, not trying to cause havoc, but staying silent and not saying anything for this time. And nurses, meanwhile, are being trusted as professionals, and they have been bringing discipline on the table, and they have been doing their work with passion. That cannot be denied at any other point. And as for this reason, farmers may see them as a reliable, capable individuals who can help them with the problems they are having on their scales, and those people who can stabilize rural communities and support a long-term development beyond just labor, And this is whatever they have been doing for a very long time. That since the slave trade took place, they gained skills, and they have been doing with a lot of passion. So I think white farmers are not just looking for them for, just because they're the ones who can do that, but they are looking for them because of their expertise and the way they do. They are very committed, the resilience in them, and the way they do their work with so much passion. And there is need for us to talk about the rebuilding black farming communities, and this has been taking place for a very long time. And we must know that historically, Black Americans owned millions of acres and that of farmlands, and most of which was lost due to discriminatory policies and lack of access to credit and a systematic racism by time. And as of this reason, we've been seeing, by inviting Black Americans to return to the land, some white landowners may be participating in efforts to restore and rebuild Black agricultural traditions, and which this one can be seen as part of broader movement toward land justice and equality in food systems. And this must not just be confused, because Black Americans have been in these farms for a very long time, and they have been doing all they can to make sure that the U.S. is well fed. The US population is well fed. And by calling them back and reminding them that we can do this together, brothers, that we are wrong for whatever we've been doing for years, please forgive us. Now, this is actually rekindling and bringing back the trust the Black Americans had lost in the systems in the US, and those systems that which has oppressed them for a very long time. I do say this, and I continue saying this, that we are all people of the human race. Whether you come from Latin America, whether you come from the Caribbean, whether you come from Africa, whether you come from America, Europe, everywhere in the world, we are one. Whether you come from the UK, we are all one. And there is need for mutual benefit and revitalization of rural areas to make sure that the US population is fed. The Black community lives well. The white community also lives well. And when all these are happening, we will actually know that, or we are actually going to learn that we will be addressing the issue of historical injustice and building alliances. You know, when Black farmers are working with white farmers, when Black nurses are working with white nurses, or working in the white farms, you know, this is building a relationship which now tends to bring the unity and tends to bridge the gap between the white community and the Black community. We are together as one, and all can be achieved when we have unity. All can be achieved when the Black, white, all races work together, and this can only be achieved when we are all willing and committed to doing this. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video. I really appreciate. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, and commenting on this channel. Thank you so much. See you in our next episode.